Cool. Just start when you're ready.
Okay, I should be sharing my screen, correct?
Yep, that's correct. We can see it.
All right. So ARTSY, initially ARTSY started as like a very simple NFT yield farm idea, and this was back in like I want to say April, maybe even March. And ARTSY keeps evolving. It seems like every day, every week. But now we're getting to the final stages for our launch, so that's pretty exciting. The first thing I really want to talk about is like the state of NFTs in Polygon. So I was a team member of sorts for a lot of projects in on Ethereum. If anybody remembers like Alpaca City, I was like a community moderator and like one of the lead breeders, I guess you could say. I've worked with like Dark and Prism and Deflect and a few other projects. And all of these projects were kind of like the early innovators of the NFT utility space. So throughout all of my time in these different projects, I realized that there's a real need for utility for NFTs outside of just the artistry that's behind them. I feel like for NFTs to really flourish, there needs to be like a real utility use case. So on Polygon, right now, as everybody probably knows, the main marketplace is OpenSea, but even OpenSea, they don't have an API backend for their, or an API endpoint for their images. So if you mint an NFT on OpenSea, you can't view that NFT anywhere else because that metadata isn't accessible. Their endpoint, it doesn't point anywhere. So basically, if you're minting NFTs on like OpenSea right now, those NFTs, that metadata is only available on OpenSea. So if you wanted to like mint that and like make your own custom website and display that, of course you could use the original image, but that image, like the actual on-chain metadata isn't available. So there's definitely some real things that need to be tackled on Polygon when it comes to like the state of NFTs in general. But the biggest thing we're looking at for ARTSY is to bring utility. So just real quick, ARTSY it stands for the Artistic Revolutionary Technology for Sustainable Yield. And what this means is that we're kind of combining the NFT space, but also adding like a utility to traditional yield farming mechanics. So if you look at like, I'm sure everybody's that's been around Polygon for a while is pretty familiar with this interface, but this isn't just your typical yield farm. There's over 1,000 lines of custom code built into this. The first thing you can see here is multipliers. So you can buy multipliers, and each week that you buy a multiplier, it's kind of scales. So 20%, 25, 30, 35% of a multiplier. And then also your NFTs can give up to a 15% multiplier as well. And so the NFTs, if we look, this one right here, the Dark Genesis Knight, you can see that it's staked, and it's providing that 10% multiplier into the pools here. So what the original idea was kind of be like a staging for projects. So like if projects are launching, they have their NFTs, they made their NFTs, but they haven't really, their NFTs don't do anything yet, whether they don't have that mechanic set up yet, or maybe they just made this really cool NFT and they don't quite know what to do with it. So that's kind of where ARTSY was born. Then it kind of evolved into now, let me hop over to Remix. I know this is really technical, but for any developers or anybody like that, basically the NFTs are on a weight-based system. So even if you have NFTs that add up to the 15%, every week we can add new project NFTs. and that will kind of redistribute the weights. So it kind of encourages users to start collecting different project NFTs across Polygon. So the hope is that it kind of connects the NFT consumer with the NFT projects in a really cool way, to where it provides additional utility kind of in a, it's expandable infinitely. So this is some of the core mechanics. The other mechanic is that if you look here, for any project, these are old. This is a test we ran back in the beta phase. I think I want to say back in like May. I've been holding off on launching the farm until I get the other pieces that I'm going to talk about here in a second. But basically, anything with a deposit fee, that they definitely won't be this high anymore. But you can get up to 75% of your deposit fee back after 1 week. So this is just to ensure that the gaming of the system doesn't occur and stuff like that. And yeah, so the other really cool thing is that staking your NFTs also gives you, it gives you the multiplier. But then when you actually start earning the ART token, which is the backbone of the ecosystem, staking that ART token also gives you votes. And so what these votes are used for is that every week there will be a competition. So artists can apply, and there will be a huge selection of artists. As you can see here, I just have placeholders. But so for the multipliers that are purchased, that money will be pooled into a USDC prize pool. And so each week, artists will be competing for a percentage of that prize pool. And our initial math is that for every 100 active users in the ecosystem, so by active user, I mean people buying multipliers and buying max multipliers each week. For each 100 users, there will be about a $5,000 USDC prize pool for the artists. And so if you think about the scalability of that, you know, if we have 1,000 users, you know, it's 50,000. If we have 10,000 users, that's $500,000 in weekly prize pools. This is completely decentralized. Nobody has control over the votes. The only thing that occurs is there's a snapshot. So at the end of each week, a snapshot occurs, and that snapshot takes the data and allocates the prize pools to the winners based on what place they got. So those are some really cool things that we have going on with the farm side. The second side of the house is the auctions. And so for the auctions, we actually purchased a GBM auction license. If you're not familiar with GBM, basically GBM is the everybody wins system. And they were kind of made famous, or they were brought onto the scene of Polygon by Aavegotchi. So Aavegotchi is the only other project that I know of that has this license. But basically, if you bid, you can see here that it calculates your incentive if you're outbid. So based on how much you bid, up to 10%, if somebody outbids you, then you get an incentive back. So you can see here, this person bid 4, they outbid by more than double, so they got 0.4004 of that token back. So what makes this different than, like, say, the OpenSea auction house or any other auction houses is that each auction can be held in any ERC20 token that you want. So you can hold it in your native token, you can hold it in ETH, you can hold it in Matic. It's really token agnostic. So when you set up the auctions, all of that will be just drop-down selections. You choose what token, or if your token is listed, there's two things you could do. You could either reach out to the team and we can list it, or there will be a custom ERC20 token option. So as you can see here, it's pulling everything directly from the chain. All of the bids are pulled live from the chain. Again, this isn't live because we ran this testing again a few weeks ago. And the last thing really is our marketplace, and this is kind of this is where it ties it all together, and this is why I haven't launched the farms or the auctions even yet, because all of this is going to be brought into one. You can see right now this is launched on different just tests, but basically all of this will be brought into one user interface. And where the marketplace really shines is the other group that went before me, I forget their name, the group that presented second. So they brought up a good point about how the OpenSea, it takes a 2.5% commission, and that's super high. And they also don't give any of that back to the community. So I saw the other project, they want to offer 1.5%. That's pretty much exactly what you're looking at with ARTSY, but there's a little caveat. So ARTSY will be taking a 2% overall fee, but 1% of that will be going back to the community. So for each sale that occurs, 1% of that sale will be distributed amongst the art stakers. So the farm and the marketplace staking will be in one contract. And so if you're staking your art that you earn through the farm, you'll be getting the highest yields on the farm, and you'll be getting voting rights for that weekly competition. And I forgot to mention this earlier too, if you vote, you also get a discount on your multipliers. So it gives you voting rights and a discount on your multipliers, and you earn 1% of all sales. So I think OpenSea did like 3 billion in sales in the month of August, the last time I really did metrics. You know, if you take 1% of that and share it among the community, that's a huge number. It's a really big, you know, talking $30 million or something being distributed back to the community. So what really kind of makes this special is that for artists that are selling, they'll be getting only 2% taken, but if they're staking, then they'll be getting part of that 1% back. So it allows artists to not only sell and have a marketplace to sell, but it also allows them to earn added passive income, not only on their sales, but on everybody else's sales. And it's not only artists too, like anybody that holds that stakes the art token will be able to get a 1% from every sale. So yeah, so that's what really ties this all together, is the sales, the farm, the art token being kind of the backbone of all this, on top of the GBM auction system, is I think what's really going to set ARTSY apart. And we've been working on this for many, many months, and it's constantly evolving. We're also looking to move into a kind of like ARTSY as a service sort of realm, where any piece of what ARTSY is doing can also be used by other projects. So whether projects want like custom farms built, or if they want to list their project tokens using our GBM license, we've spoken to GBM about that, and that's also a possibility. And yeah, so we have a lot going on. It's all really exciting stuff. The ARTSY Farm mechanics will actually be launching in 2 NFT projects that are launching this week and next week. I'm not sure I can really talk about them exactly right now, but if you follow us on like Twitter, or you follow us on Discord or Telegram. We'll be talking more about that in the near future. But yeah, so like ARTSY Tech is going to be, you know, available to the Polygon community, where kind of custom built solutions can be made. They can be integrated into the overall ARTSY platform. We can even host the farms on our subdomain. So yeah, there's and the minting. So you'll also be able to mint NFTs, of course, with ARTSY. But like we can host, we can build and host your minting contracts, your minting landing pages if you need that. The farms can be custom built, all that stuff. And even if you don't have a website, we can host that on our subdomain until you buy a website. So like yourproject.artsydefi.app. We're really doing everything we can to make not only the NFT space grow, but to make it accessible to all the teams that want to get involved. So even if you're a team, you don't know how to mint custom, you know, kind of ERC 721 tokens or 1155, or you don't know how to do the farm, or you don't know how to tie it together, or maybe you don't even really have a concrete idea of what you want to do. Maybe you just have, hey, this is the general idea of what we want to happen. How do we do that? I'm happy to kind of coordinate with teams, which I've been doing with the two other teams that I talked about a little bit earlier. So yeah, all of this should be launching very soon. The one thing I kind of pointed it out a little bit earlier, but with the OpenSea, as you can see, I can't render any OpenSea stuff. So we've decided that we're just going to go ahead and not really wait for OpenSea on this one and kind of just say, hey, like, there's not much we can do if you minted your NFT on OpenSea. Yeah, it's going to be hard to list with the image for us, but you'll always have the opportunity to re-mint it on the ARTSY site, which will allow you to not only list it on our site, but the API won't be behind like a endpoint that's not accessible. It'll be completely IPFS hosted, to where any IPFS gateway can share that token URI and allow you to display that anywhere you'd like without any hassle. So with that, I think that kind of wraps up everything we wanted to talk about. Yeah, so the art token there will be a pre-sale soon. It's a 1 million capped coin. It's a capped token. It's not one of these mint to infinity sorts of things. So there will be a pre-sale, and then all the other tokens will have to be farmed through the yield farm. And yeah, if there's any questions, happy to answer those.
Great. Thanks for sharing, Cheerio. Is that your true name? Cheerio.
Yeah, it's the name I've used in my web presence, I would say, since the late 90s. So.
Okay, that's pretty. I mean, through my personal perspective, that's a pretty cool projects with a very unique standing point, apart from most of the other NFT and also the yield farming projects. Yeah, definitely love it, and thanks for sharing it. Let me see if there are some questions. So there's a questions for the competitions about what portion of the participating artists can win prize. I think you just mentioned it's about 1%, right?
No, so
Oh,
the pool 100% will go to the artist prize pool. I think what they mean is like what number. So there will be it will depend on how many artists are competing that week. So we're probably looking at anywhere, depending on the adoption and how much it picks up. Early on, it'll probably be somewhere to like between 25 and I want to say like even maybe 50% of the very first people participating, just because we want those early artists to be able to have a chance. As if, you know, if it gets the adoption that I think it will, and the prize pools get to the level that they do, that could scale out more linearly. So maybe, you know, if 100 artists are competing, maybe it could even scale to, you know, the top 50, get like a ratio percent. That's a good question. Yeah. So that will all be built into the contract too. It'll all be, and it will be changeable by governance. So the art token is a governance token in its own sense, where we can vote on these sorts of things as a community using the art token itself. So yeah. In the testing, we just did it so the top 3, but it was only because there were very limited amounts of NFTs being tested. But yeah, you know, so I would say if there's in the beginning, if there's 10 artists competing, probably the top 5 will share that. If there's 100, obviously it won't be the top 5. It'll be maybe the top 50 or top 75 even. And this can all change over time with governance too. So good question. Yeah.
gotcha. And there is one more and probably the last questions. Any protection days for the launching?
Projected date for the launch. I get asked this a lot, actually. A lot. So really the biggest thing that we're waiting on is getting kind of fine tuning the image displays. So what I'm glad you actually asked that. So what I actually learned through my research and actually looking at what OpenSea is doing, what they do, or I mean, this is my opinion, and I'm pretty sure this is what happens, is that, you know, they're a multi-billion-dollar company. So every time an NFT is minted on chain, it pulls that metadata, it saves that image attached to it, and then it caches it, and it looks like it on like a Google Cloud. So when you're loading images on OpenSea, they're not actually being pulled from the chain. They're being pulled from the Google Cloud, the OpenSea Google Cloud. So if you look here, all of our images are being pulled straight from the IPFS, whatever IPFS or whatever their token URI is, it's being pulled, all of the data is being pulled straight from the chain. So I feel like this is it's a much more genuine and a much more real representation of the art, because it's the original artist's information being directly pulled from the chain. And I think this is also what makes us more decentralized than OpenSea, is we're not pulling images to a cache that is being used to display images quickly. We're pulling like the raw chain data. So like if you look when it fetches, if there is any more, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, so you can see these are loading in real time. They're not loading from like a cache or anything. So basically, I'm sorry I'm taking a little bit long to answer this, but I think it's really important. So the this gives the user the most raw experience for what they're buying. So it's really easy to make a broken NFT. Whether you're hosting the image on a slow gateway, or you're hosting the image maybe on your own backend that's slow or goes down or something like this, all the data that's going to be rendered on the ARTSY marketplace is straight from the contract, straight from the raw data. So artists that host their images well on like a fast IPFS, or if they host it through ARTSY, it'll be like a guaranteed fast, like if they mint it on ARTSY. But yeah, so I think this is kind of a new horizon also for the NFT space, is having fast and reliable NFT metadata and NFT hosting. So I want to give the most raw and like real experience that you can actually get, instead of just you know, some sort of kind of cached experience. So yeah, that's also a good question. But
Thanks for, yeah.
basically, we will launch whenever we can refine this down to give the best experience, with also keeping it genuine. And we're really close. We're definitely very close. I give updates almost every day on Discord. So yeah, join us on Discord, and I'm always available to discuss any questions you might have.
Okay, cool. And thank you for sharing. Definitely, guys, if you're interested in the ARTSY or previous three projects which are overnight, the side docs and also the Artist Life Network, definitely go to search their whatever, the social media, the Telegram, Discord, join their community, and catching up with the progress of the projects. And I guess that will be it for today. And really appreciate everyone who join us and participating this very interesting project demo day. I believe the whole sessions could be super interesting for everyone who want to get involved into the future Polygon network, Polygon ecosystem building. And remember, definitely, if you don't follow us on YouTube, definitely do that, so you won't miss out any of the upcoming events like today's in the future. And I hope everyone could have a great day, and I hope all of the projects could building great in the future. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a good one, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Max.
Thanks.
Sure.